G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Before we get started, you can support this channel by clicking the like button, subscribe and click the alarm bell for new content and for notification when we go live. You can also purchase the new Let's Go Brandon t-shirts at tinyurl.com/DRN-shirts or click the link in the description. Dr. Limeng Yan, a Chinese virologist, escaped to America after facing threats for speaking out on the origins of COVID-19. China couldn't stop Yan from telling her story, so Facebook is stepping in to help the communist regime censor the whistleblower. Last week, the Daily Signal published an exclusive interview with Yan about her research that COVID-19 was created in a Wuhan, China, research lab. Yan believes it was done with the approval of the People's Liberation Army, the armed wing of Chinese Communist Party. But when Facebook users attempt to share the Daily Signal story, it's flagged with an obtrusive partly false information warning. In at least one case, Facebook removed the post entirely and left this message in its place. Independent fact-checkers reviewed the information and said it was partly false. The post is no longer available. The fact-check, conducted by Science Feedback, concluded, the virus causing COVID-19 most likely evolved in natural wildlife populations before spreading to humans. Yan told the Daily Signal's Fred Lucas a different story. The virus actually does not come from nature. It came from the lab controlled by the Chinese Communist Party government and its military. The Chinese government has developed a novel bioweapon. The doctor, who holds a medical degree and a doctorate in ophthalmology from Chinese universities, cites Chinese military documents to back up her claims. Yan was warned not to go public. Be silent, don't cross a red line. If not, you will be disappeared, her supervisor at the University of Hong Kong told her in early 2020. Yan was able to escape to America only to discover that California-based Facebook is acting much like the Chinese censors she fled. Why would Facebook censor her story? We asked the company and it shrugged off responsibility on the fact-checker. Just as all fact-checks, if you wish to issue a correction or dispute a rating, we ask that you please contact the fact-checking organization directly. Third-party fact-checkers apply their ratings independently from Facebook and are responsible for responding to appeals. More information about the process can be found in our help center. The Daily Signal is currently in the process of appealing. Facebook has used fact-checks to censor content, a troubling pattern that limits the reach of outlets like the Daily Signal. In this case, a little-known fact-checker named Science Feedback did the dirty work on Facebook's behalf. Despite its claims that COVID-19 most likely evolved in natural wildlife populations, there's no settled agreement on that point. For example, President Joe Biden hasn't ruled out the true origins of COVID-19. He tasked the intelligence community with the responsibility for finding out. Its 90-day investigation was inconclusive, split on whether the virus was spread to humans from an infected animal or from a laboratory accident, according to Politico. In a response to the investigation, Biden said on August 27, "Critical information about the origins of this pandemic exists in the People's Republic of China, yet from the beginning, government officials in China have worked to prevent international investigators and members of the global public health community from accessing it. To this day, the PRC continues to reject calls for transparency and withhold information, even as the toll of this pandemic continues to rise." Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has come under fire from members of Congress for funding gain-of-function research at a virology lab in Wuhan, China. As early as February 1, 2020, Fauci and other public health officials played a pivotal role in shaping the early views of several key scientists, whose published papers and public statements contributed to the shutting down of legitimate discussion about whether a laboratory in Wuhan, China, might have ignited the COVID-19 pandemic, USA Today reported. Just this week, a Harvard scientist, Dr. Alina Chan, told members of parliament in the United Kingdom that it is reasonable that COVID-19 could have been genetically engineered in China. Yen is hardly alone in her beliefs about the origins of COVID-19. She was brave enough to speak out and tell her story. Shame on Facebook and its fact-checking minions for censoring it. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share and subscribe. And check out our Patreon for exclusive content and tons of more news that keeps you informed. Also check us out at DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.